at the African folk tales your grandparents told you at, or the village stories that made you afraid to sleep could actually build you a profitable YouTube channel today. Yes, it can. But the truth is that many creators actually love African folk tales, not no doubt, but they are stuck, afraid, or they are confused because they have a lot of unanswered questions on their mind. Yes, they do not know what to do next. So because of that, they're asking questions like, will this niche even grow? Where do I get stories from? Right? Do I need to show my face? Can this really make money? Or am I wasting my time? That's exactly why this live stream exists. So today we are breaking down the 20 most frequently asked questions about running a YouTube channel in the African folktale niche. These are questions that beginners are often afraid to ask. Okay, there are mistakes holding people back in the African folktale niche, and there are secrets behind folktale channels that quietly blow up. So I'll be answering these questions in today's live stream, giving you simple answers rather, and view examples. There will be no gatekeeping. And as you can see, I'm looking down a little bit. Is because I have a paper with me where I jotted down the points for today. So I'll be looking into it to give you the 20 questions, and then I'll explain them. Right. So if you love African stories or African folktales, and you've ever thought that, maybe I should start an African folktale channel, then this live stream is for you today. Like I said earlier on, we'll be discussing 20 most frequently asked questions about running a YouTube channel in the African folktale niche. By the way, if you're just joining my channel for the first time, welcome. My name is Jane of Moonlight Tales by JD, and in today's live stream, like I said earlier on, we'll be looking at the 20 most frequently asked questions about running a successful YouTube channel in the African folktale niche. By the way, on this channel, I share timeless African folktales, and I also give you valuable tips about running a successful African folktale channel on YouTube. I also share math puzzles and fun brain teasers with you guys to keep my audience entertained, because all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, right? Yes. So without much ado, let's get right into um, the video. What I have for you today. I've noticed that nobody has joined my live stream. I don't know if I should wait for people to join or not. Anyway, I will just continue talking. Whew, I'm sweating. I think I need to wait a little bit for some persons to join. Why I open my paper to where I jotted down the first question for today. The first question is obviously, what is an African folktale YouTube channel about? So many persons have been hearing about this. I don't know if you can hear me. I think this fan is noisy, so I'm just going to use my handkerchief rather to dab my face a little bit. So the first question is, what is an African folktale YouTube channel? Yes, so an African folktale YouTube channel actually is a channel that tells traditional African stories about village life, spirits, animals, kings, um, life experiences, cultural values, life lessons, and all that, with the sole aim of teaching morals, such as patience, respect, love, obedience, humility, and all that. These stories are usually told using texts, images, animation, using text, images, voice, or animation. So I'm going to ask you the first question for today's live stream. Tell me in the chat box, whether you have ever heard a folk tale from your village. Have you ever heard any folk tale from your village? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Oh wow, someone has joined my live stream. Hello to the one person that has just joined my live stream. Thank you. I'm in my live stream. I'm so happy that one person has joined my live stream. Welcome. My name is Jane of Moonlight Tales by Jamie. And in today's live stream, we are discussing 20 most frequently asked questions about running an African folktale channel on YouTube. Hello to the one person that has just joined my live stream. I'm so happy that you've joined my live stream. Welcome. My name is Jane of Moonlight Tales by Jamie, and in today's live stream, we are discussing 20 most frequently asked questions about running a successful African folktale channel on YouTube. The person has gone. But however, as I was saying, I'm going to continue with um, the questions I have for today. So the first question I asked was, what is an African folktale YouTube channel? And I believe that by now you know the answer to that question. It is a channel that tells traditional African stories. It shares stories, and these stories revolve around the village life, sometimes even the city life, about spirits, kings, love, fear, and life lessons. But there must always be a moral lesson to be learned at the end of these stories. So these stories are told using voice, text, images, or animation, right? Yes. So I asked the question, have you ever heard a folk tale from your village before? If yes, let me know in the comment section, or rather the chat box, right? So over to question two. Question two says, do African folktale channels really grow on YouTube? Do African folktale channels really grow on YouTube? The answer is yes. African folktale channels grow on YouTube. I don't know if you've come across them, because I have come across a lot. Even though I own one, I have come across a lot of African folktale channels on YouTube, and they are doing very well. A lot of them have millions of following or followership, and a lot of them are monetized. A lot of the creators behind these channels are making a lot of money because their content is monetized. So I've come to know that people actually love stories, because who else is watching these videos if not people, right? Sometimes when I come across these videos, I see 30,000 views, 50,000 views. The one I recently watched, an animated African story, had 527,000 views. Amazing, right? Yes, so people actually love stories. African folktales are unique, they are emotional, and they are different from what many people already see online. That is what really attracts people to these channels and keeps them glued. So the third question is, do I need to be a professional storyteller to start? Do I need to be a professional storyteller to start? Okay, the mic is working. The answer is no. You don't need to be a professional storyteller to start. You don't need to attend any school for storytelling, or I don't know, any writing class and all that. You can, if you actually really want to build a skill, a storytelling skill, you can actually, but you don't really have to be a professional to start a YouTube channel in the African folktale niche, right? You don't need it. All you need to do is to be able to speak clearly. Yes, your voiceover has to be audible. If you can speak clearly, and then if you can tell your stories in a simple and interesting way, okay, you get better with practice. You get better with practice, right? You get better with practice, because I've noticed that when I go back to the videos I have posted when I first started out my channel, I had when I look at those videos, they are really, let me say, not so good compared to the videos I've recently uploaded that I've been making in the past 1 month. I've noticed that I'm doing better. Okay, so you get better with practice. If you can speak well, if you are confident with using your voice as voiceover, then go ahead and do it. If you are not confident with using your voice, then you can use AI. Yes, AI is now available. There are AI tools that you can use to create AI voiceovers for your African folktale stories. By the way, in tomorrow's live stream, we'll be discussing the important AI tools that you can use to create your African folktale stories. Hello to the one person that has just joined my live stream. Welcome. I'm so happy you've joined my live stream. My name is Jane, and in today's live stream, we are discussing 20 most frequently asked questions about running a profitable YouTube channel in the African folktale niche. So I just finished discussing the first question. The first question was, what is an African folktale channel? So the person has gone. The second question was, do African folktale channels really grow on YouTube? And I said yes, they do. The third question was, do I need to be a professional storyteller to start? And I was on that. I said no, you don't need to be a professional storyteller to start. You just need to have a clear, audible voice. And if you're not confident with your voice, you can use AI. So, on to the next question. The fourth question is, can I start um, an African folktale channel without showing my face? Can I start an African folktale channel without showing my face? The answer is yes. Actually, many African folktale channels are voiceover only, right? Or even text based. They are even text. They do not show their face. The African folktale niche itself falls under the faceless channel niche or category. Yes, it falls under that niche. So all you need to do is have a good voice. Yes, it is your voiceover that matters. It is the quality of your stories that matters. The images that matters. If you cannot write your stories yourself, you can use AI. If you can't write your stories yourself, because sometimes I do, then use your imagination. You can use your imagination, or you can look up what other authors have published in some storybooks or African folktale books, right? Look at those original stories, pick them up, and spice it up with your own stories. Add some things to it to make it more intriguing or interesting. I'm sweating again, guys. Okay, so the fifth question says, where can I get African folktale stories to tell? I just finished discussing that one actually. So I said you can get African folktale stories anywhere. Apart from your own brain, God has given you a brain. You can make use of it. For people like us who are already um, good at storytelling and writing poems, we write the stories ourselves. And when we do not have the time to, we make use of AI. So you can make use of AI to write your stories. Like I said earlier on, in tomorrow's live stream, I'll be sharing 10 AI tools, 10 AI tools, free AI tools that you can actually use to generate African folktale stories. Yes, both for your images and videos. So you want to join my live again tomorrow, but in tomorrow's live stream, rather I'll be live streaming at an earlier time, probably around 1 before 3 o'clock, right? I'll be live streaming. And this live stream is actually going to hold for 7 days. So from today till Saturday, or even probably Sunday, expect to see my face. I'll be on this channel discussing issues, topics related to the African folktale niche. Okay, so where can I get African folktale stories? You can get them from elders, you can get them from books, you can get them from storytelling websites, you can get them from folklore blogs or websites, you can get them from the oral traditions or the oral stories your grandparents, especially your grandmother told you or your mother told you, and these stories were passed down from one generation to another, or you heard them from someone. Yes, you can get these stories, pick them up, and retell them in your own way, in your own unique voice. So I'm going to move on to the sixth question. So before I do that, I have a question for you. Which tribe should I feature my folktale stories from on my channel? Let me know. Let me know. You know, I've been focusing mostly on Nigerian stories, basically because I am from Nigeria. But with time, I'll be branching into other African countries. I'll be telling stories from other African countries. So the sixth question is it okay to rewrite folk tales instead of telling them word for word? Yes, by all means, yes, it's okay. You can rewrite folk tales. You do not have to, if you want to tell them as they were originally passed down from one generation to the other, fine. But you can actually spice these stories up to make them sound more contemporary, because in modern times people are tilting towards a particular direction. They like certain stories. The stories have to be intriguing a lot, suspense filled. So you need to add those things to your story. So yes, in fact, you should rewrite your stories, but make the story clearer, more dramatic, and easier to understand, while keeping the lesson. Like I said earlier on, the moral lesson is the most important thing that anyone watching your story must take home, right? The basic thing for having an African folktale channel is to pass on these strong moral values. Okay, so the seventh question, the seventh most frequently asked question is, what kind of African folktales perform best on YouTube? In my little experience of running an African folktale channel, at least for the past, would I say, 10 months now, because it's almost getting to a year. For the past 10 months now, I've come to know that the African folktales that actually perform best on YouTube are scary stories. Yes, stories that folktales that have moral lessons, funny stories, the ones that make people laugh, and magical stories. Yes, magical stories. These ones are the best. Even village mysteries, stories that involve spirits, ghosts, spirit wives and husbands, forbidden love. Wow, karma stories. Stories that someone is always punished in the end or someone is greatly rewarded in the end. These are stories that do well. So I remember saying something in my the first video I ever heard about this African folktale niche, right? I told you guys that, oh, I've forgotten what I wanted to say. But anyway, the last question. The eighth question is, how long should each folktale video be? How long should each folktale video be? The answer is between 6 to 15 minutes. Between 6 to 15 minutes. Except you are posting those stories as a short. Of course, if you are posting them as shorts, there'll be your videos have to be from 1 second to 3 minutes. 1 second to 3 minutes. But I've come to know that short videos, shorts that are actually within a second to 30 seconds. Once they are less than 30 seconds rather, they do very well. They do very well. Okay, so they do very well. So between 6 to 15 minutes is great. So your story should be long enough to tell the story fully, right? But short enough to keep attention. You don't want to be posting videos that are too long. Although there are people who can actually sit and watch 30 minutes to 1 hour folktale videos. I've seen some creators in the African folktale niche that have posted stories that are up to 1 hour. And I've seen that they still have a good number of viewers watching that particular video, right? I've noticed that. But you yourself, I have a question for you. Do you like long folktales? Can you actually sit down for 30 minutes to 1 hour watching a story? If you cannot, then don't expect someone else to. Hello to the one person that has just joined my live stream. Welcome. Welcome. My name is Jane, and in today's live stream, we are discussing 20 most frequently asked questions about the African folktale niche, about running the African folktale niche on YouTube. So, tell me in the chat box, would you watch a 30 minutes to 1 hour folktale? If you can't, then don't post that. You can make your stories from 6 minutes to 15 minutes is great. Because I know someone can sit down to watch that if they have nothing doing, and or if your folktale videos, your African folktale videos are so interesting, they can actually sit down to watch that long. So the next question is, how many times should I upload in a week? How many times should I upload in a week? If you actually want to do well on YouTube, I would recommend you post 1 to 3 times per week, 1 to 3 videos per week. If you are someone that has a lot of time on your hands, you can post every day. You can post every day by all means. Yes, that's even good. That's a good one for you, because the YouTube algorithm would notice that yes, this person is actually doing so well. Yes, this is a serious channel, and they will help you push your videos out the more. Okay, so um, know that consistency matters. Consistency is more important than quantity. So don't say, oh, let me post every day, let me post every day so that YouTube will keep pushing out my videos. If your video quality is poor or your stories are just there, they're not, they don't have that much intrigue to keep the viewers glued to the channel, because that's all YouTube wants. They want people to stay on their platform and keep watching their videos, the videos that their creators are making, right? So know that the quality of your videos, your visuals, and audio matter a lot too. So when you are putting out, uploading your videos 1 to 3 times per week, make sure that you put all these factors into consideration. If not, I doubt if you will get, people will just be clicking on your videos, don't, no doubt. But if the story is not interesting enough, they will click out, right? So if you want to do well, you can start with 1 to 3 videos per week. 1 to 3 videos per week. Do not make the mistake of not posting at all in a week, or not even posting at all in a month. That's bad. That was one of the mistakes I made when I started out this channel. There was a time when I think I was getting married around last year, July, August. The wedding preparations were so hectic, and I took a break from YouTube. Gosh, it affected my views a lot. It affected my views a lot. My views dropped. I noticed. It was as if it was as if I was starting from the scratch again, and you don't want that. Once you leave your channel, once you don't upload on your channel for a week or two, or over a month or two, the algorithm is going to forget about your channel and move on to pushing the channel of other creators that are seriously uploading. Okay, so you want to be uploading consistently. I've talked about that question. I've dwelt on that question a lot. Now I'll head over to question 10. Question 10 says, do I need expensive equipment to start? Do I need expensive equipment to start? The answer is no. You don't need expensive equipment to start. All you need is your smartphone, your Android phone, or your iPhone, or your Samsung, other brands of phones. Okay, but you, apart from the phone, you also need free editing apps to put your videos together, your animated videos together, or your still images together. And you also need a quiet space to record your scripts. Your phone, free editing apps, free AI tools that you can use to generate your images or animated videos, and a quiet space to record your script. These are the things that are enough for you to begin your channel. As you can see, I am actually sitting in a quiet space in my room. That's where I'm sitting to shoot this video from. So those are the things you need. You can also use your laptop or your computer if you have one. If you are more comfortable with it, fine, you can use it. But for people like me, we use our phones. And then, if possible, because I said earlier on that your voice matters, voiceover matters, right? The audibility of your voiceover matters. This is what you keep your audience glued. Then, because of that, you can invest in a good microphone. As you can see, I am using a lapel microphone. It is not that expensive. It is just 3 to 4 thousand naira, and I got it on one of the most popular um, online shopping sites that is in vogue now. Everyone is buying from them. I don't want to mention them, so it doesn't look as if I am promoting them in this video, which I am not. I have not gotten any brand deals yet. Please, if you are watching this video or this live stream and you have a brand deal for me, by all means, I'm available. But the thing is, I know you wouldn't want to give me because I don't have great followership yet. I don't have a lot of subscribers or persons who have subscribed to my channel yet. But nevertheless, I am available. Okay. So the next question is, what language should I tell my folk tales in? What language should I tell my folk tales in? The answer is English. Yes, English works well. You can't tell your stories in your tribal language or your own mother tongue or vernacular. If you can, fine. That means you would have to translate them. But I've come to know that a lot of people have the English language as their lingua franca. So if you tell your stories in English, chances are that you would have a large audience watching your videos. If you are from a country that is not English speaking, maybe you're from France, Cameroon, any of these French speaking countries, right? You can actually narrate your stories in your language, but make sure you translate them to English. Or there is a setting, there's a particular setting on YouTube that you can put translations, put your script in there for YouTube itself to translate those videos to your audience. If you go to your settings in your YouTube studio, you would get to find out the countries that watch your videos the most. So you can actually decide to um, tweak your settings to cover those languages for those people watching those videos, right? So English works well. You can also mix English with local languages. You can use English and then mention an Igbo word or a Yoruba word or an Hausa word, depending on the tribe you come from. If you're Ghanaian, you can use your tribal language. Vernacular works. Just add some African vocabulary or slangs to spice up your stories for authenticity. You know it's an African folktale channel. So you can do all that, but make sure you use English as your major language. So I have a question for you. I know that some of you wouldn't agree with me. So that's why I'm asking this question. Should folktales be told in English or local African dialects? If I actually sit down and tell stories in Efiki Bibio, that's because that's my mother tongue. Or I decide to tell it in Igbo because that's my maternal um, vernacular. Would I have a lot of persons watching me? The people watching me would be limited to only people from that particular tribe, right? And they're not really much. They're not really much. That means if I am telling my stories in that particular tribal language, I'll be translating it for people to watch, right? There are no two ways about it. So drop your answer in the chat or in the comment section. Should folktales be told in English or in local African dialects? There's a particular country that I love. They are so proud of their local language, and that is the Chinese people. They do not want to know. They tell their stories in. They do everything in their local dialect. I think it's Mandarin, right? It's Mandarin. They speak in their local language. They teach in their local language, and they are doing well. So, but for an African folktale channel, use English. Use what? English. So on to the next question. The 12th question, right? The 12th question is, how do I make my folk tales more interesting? How do I make my folk tales more interesting? The answer is, make use of emotions. Yes, let your stories appeal to people's emotions. I've noticed that some of these stories that their theme or moral lessons, sorry, their moral lessons revolve around kindness, empathy. They have a lot of viewers watching those videos because it appeals to their emotions. It makes them feel teary or brings back a particular memory, and you see them in the comment section of that video discussing their experiences or how that particular story made them feel. They can easily relate to it. So you have to appeal to your viewers' emotions. That's how you can make the African folktales interesting. You have to use good voice pacing, especially fast pacing. I've noticed that people like stories that are told with a fast pacing. Make use of pauses, make use of sound effects, make use of background music, especially background music that is related to Africa, that has um, African related sounds. I don't know if you get me. Make use of suspense, make use of cliffhangers, make use of plot twists. These are the things that will keep viewers glued on your channel, that will make them keep watching your stories. I don't know if I'm giving value. If I'm giving value so far, please take a second to like this video. Please like this video, drop a comment in the chat box, or in the comment section, so that YouTube will push out this video to those who need it. Okay? Okay, so the 13th question is, what type of thumbnails work best for folktale channels? Yes, thumbnails are important. Your titles and thumbnails are important. In fact, your thumbnail is the first thing that your viewers will see when they before they click on your video to watch that particular story unfold. Right, the thumbnail is the first thing they would see. So you want to generate or create thumbnails with strong emotion that has some form of drama or conflict mystery displayed on the screen. Make use of bold text or captions. These are the kind of thumbnails that do most. Thumbnails that pique curiosity, that pique viewers' curiosity, are the thumbnails that would do best on um, on an African folktale channel. These are the thumbnails that perform best. So you have to make sure your thumbnails are catchy enough for viewers to click on your video. If your if a particular video on your channel does not have a high CTR, chances are that it is because you have a bad thumbnail, right? It is because you have a bad thumbnail. So what you want to do, if you even if you don't get anything right, get your thumbnail right. A lot of persons have to click on your video, but also the quality of the stories you tell in your video matters. It is what you keep your audience watching to the end. And of course, apart from your thumbnails, you want a good audience retention. You want your audience to watch your stories from the beginning to the end. If they don't, the YouTube algorithm won't push out that particular video, and that video won't do well. You end up having low views, and you keep asking yourself, "What did I do wrong? Where did I?" Trust me, you don't want to be in that shoe, because I've been there a lot of times. I'm sweating. So, guys, Your thumbnail matters. Your thumbnails matters. You might ask, do thumbnails affect whether viewers click on a video? The answer is yes, they do. It matters. The thumbnail is the first thing your audience sees, even before they read the title of your video. So your thumbnail has to be catchy enough to make viewers click on your video. I cannot continue to emphasize that because that is very important. Now, on to the next question, which is the 14th question. That thumbnail question leads us to the next question, which is how important are titles for folktale videos? They are very important. After your thumbnail, the next thing your viewer, a particular viewer or your viewers read is your title, the title of your video, rather, the title of your video. Once they see that the title of the video piques their interest, is interesting enough, they will definitely click on that video, right? So a good title is very important. A good title is what makes people curious and want to click on your video immediately. Hmm? So tell me, which one sounds better? A village story, example. Which of these titles sound better? A village story or the night the village disappeared? A village story or the night the village disappeared? Which one piques your curiosity more? A night the village disappeared, right? Because the viewer wants to be like, what happened that particular night that made a whole village disappear? So they'll click, they'll definitely want to click on that video to watch it to the end, and they want to see what happened to make that particular village disappear. Okay, so the next question is question 15. Can I monetize an African folktale channel? Can I monetize an African folktale channel? Can I monetize an African folktale? Hello to the one person that has just joined my live stream. Welcome. I'm so glad you joined my live stream. My name is Jane, and in today's live stream, we are discussing 20 most frequently asked questions about running a successful YouTube channel in the African folktale niche. See, overexcitement has made me say the wrong thing, but the person just clicked on and left. Anyway, I'll keep discussing what I have for today. Probably I would have people who would watch this video later on and would appreciate the video. So, as I was saying, question 15 says, can I monetize an African folktale channel? The answer is yes. You can monetize an African folktale channel through in-stream ads. Yes, or AdSense, what we call AdSense. That is what um, every creator on YouTube works towards. It is the goal of every creator on YouTube to be monetized through AdSense. Excuse me, but apart from that, you can monetize your channel through memberships. Yes, once you hit 500 subscribers, you can actually tell people to pay a little amount of money for them to um, become members on your channel, and you'll be giving them exclusive stories or deals, anything that will stand out, that is not so regular. You package it and give to them so that they'll feel the value of what they are paying for, or they'll get the value of what they are paying for, right? So you can also monetize your channel through super chats. There are some people that gift creators on their channels through super chats, through storytelling books, through audio books or compilations, even through brand sponsorships. So yes, you can monetize your African folktale channel. You do not have to wait for the YouTube AdSense. You can monetize your African folktale channel through channel memberships, through super chats, right? Through organizing live storytelling sessions, exclusive live storytelling sessions for your viewers, for your audience. So if you are actually thinking that these African folktale channels cannot be monetized because they are generated with AI, Change your mindset today. Change your mindset today. So the 16th question is, how long does it take to see results on YouTube? If you are in the African folktale niche, how long does it take to see results on YouTube? The answer is it depends, but usually it's 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months of consistent uploads. I remember mentioning posting consistently. If you are actually posting consistently back to back, you can get monetized in 1 month or two. I've seen creators on this channel that got monetized in the same month that they started out. I guess it's because they are actually from first world countries, countries like the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, all those countries that they have advertisers paying you to advertise their videos. So those creators who are from those countries or who shoot their videos or post their content from those countries actually get monetized faster than we Africans that are posting our videos from our content rather from these third world African countries. But that shouldn't discourage you. Sorry, that shouldn't discourage you from posting. You have to keep posting until you finally get monetized. The mistake I made when I started out my YouTube channel was not posting consistently, and right now I am I am enjoying the consequences of the mistakes I made. Let me put it that way. And trust me, you don't want to be in my shoes. You don't want to be in that same situation. So to save yourself delays or long having to wait for a long waiting or having to wait for a long time to get your YouTube channel monetized. Before I start off my African Folktale channel, I will batch create videos, batch create a lot of videos, even if it's 10 to 15 videos and keep I will batch create these videos based on what other big creators in the African folktale niche have made. So you go and big creators, study those big creators, sit down, write your stories, you know, stories that are related to what they have, copy their titles, but you have to tweak it a little bit because you don't have to copy and paste completely. If not, that wouldn't be nice. YouTube may flag you down for being a copycat, and that's not good. So you want to be creative, even if you are actually borrowing their story idea, right? Write your own script. You can model it after their story idea, but write your own script. Use your original voice or your AI voice. Do not copy anybody's story word for word. If not, you will be in big trouble. You do not want your channel being reported. Trust me, you do not want that. Okay, so I told you your channel can be monetized in 3 to 6 months of consistent uploads. This brings visible growth. You will begin to get visibility if you upload consistently. There is no overnight success on this YouTube. That's what I've come to know. There is no overnight success. You have to put in the work. YouTube rewards hard work and consistency. Not just hard work. When you are working hard smartly, that means you are posting strategically. I remember saying in one of the videos I created, the first video I created on this same African folktale niche. You can go and watch it on my channel. Check my live stream videos, you'll see it. I told you that you have to put in the work, you have to post strategically. What do I mean by that? Schedule out your post and stick to it. If you are someone who is okay with posting uploading videos 3 times a week. Let's say on Sundays, today is Sunday, right? On Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Make sure you stick to it. Keep posting every Sunday, every Tuesday, and every Thursday. When you do this, the YouTube algorithm will know, oh, these are excuse me, these are the particular days this creator posts her videos. Let's help her push out these videos. This is when she posts her videos. Then when you have built a large audience, you know that you have a loyal audience, loyal subscribers, fine, you are free to start posting whenever you want because you know that you will definitely get the views. But when you are starting out, post strategically, post consistently, post every week. You want to post 2 to 3 videos every week. Do not make the same mistakes I made or I'm even currently making. So my essence of making these videos that I'm making for you today on these my live streams is for you not to make the same mistakes I made. It's for you to build a profitable YouTube channel in the African folktale niche. I love African folktales. I love stories. I love poems. Even though I know that I'm not monetized yet and the growth on my channel is very slow and quite discouraging, I'm still passionate about what I'm doing and I'll still keep doing it. I think with time I'll open another channel and then I will start with momentum. I won't relax the way I did. When I started out this channel, I was kind of experimenting. Let me see whether it will work out. Let me see whether it will work out. That was what I was doing until my eyes started to open, but it was quite late. My eyes started to open late last of late last year, right around November, December. That is when I started putting in most of the work. Started doing my researches and producing better stories. So trust me, you need to post consistently. Irregular uploads is what one of the things that kills channels in the African folktale niche. Okay, I've dwelt on that question a lot. Let me move on to the next question. What mistakes should beginners avoid? What mistakes should beginners avoid? The answer is inconsistent posting. I've said that earlier. Do not post inconsistently. Trust me, you do not want to do that. If you do, it will affect your channel's growth. It will affect um, your channel's growth. Everything, even the YouTube algorithm would think your channel is not a serious one and they wouldn't push out your videos. So inconsistent posting, avoid it if you're starting out. Boring delivery. If your stories make your viewers want to sleep, oh my god. Don't even bother don't even bother posting it. So you have to make your stories engaging enough for people to want to drop comments in the comment section. Copying others, exactly. I already said it. You do not want to copy others. You can only steal their ideas and make use of it. But what matters the most is your own originality, is your authenticity, is your creativity. YouTube rewards creativity, it rewards hard work and consistency. So you want to avoid these mistakes, you want to avoid inconsistent posting, boring delivery or poor delivery, copying others exactly, bad audio or visuals, very bad. If your images and audio are not good enough, trust me, your viewers might click on your video because of a catchy thumbnail, but they will not stay on your video. They won't stay on. They'll just click out and go on to the next to watching the next video. So the 18th question is: can African folktales be turned into movies or animations? Yes, yes, that's what is actually trending now. I've seen a lot of creators in the African folktale niche doing this. So yes, African folktales can be turned into movies or animations, and they should be done so to achieve high audience retention. A lot of people love it when they see these your still images come to life. It makes them watch videos do well. Let me not lie. Having animated videos perform better than when your animated videos sorry they perform better than when your audience watches your story and they only see still images. They only see still images. They might not want to watch it. So ensure that when you are turning these your African folktales into movies or animations, ensure that they are rich. Ensure that the visual is rich and powerful. Okay. In my live stream tomorrow, I'll be talking about the free AI tools or apps you can use to create images and videos for your African Folktale channel. So don't forget to tune in tomorrow between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. Nigerian time. You can check my channel. I'm actually going to schedule out the live stream so that you guys can see the notification and join. Yes, I won't be doing it at this time tomorrow because at this time tomorrow I won't be around. So I'll be heading somewhere else. So I'll be doing this live stream between 1 and 3 p.m. I believe that by that time a lot of persons will join the live stream. We're gradually coming to the end of today's live stream. I am actually on the 19th question. The 19th question is: should I niche down or tell all kinds of folk tales? The answer is yes, niche down. Do not tell all kinds of folk tales. When you are starting out your African folktale channel, you need to niche down. You need to niche down. Do not Do not be jack of all trades and master of none. Stick to one niche, niche down and stick to that niche. At least till you build a large audience. I've seen some African folktale channels that have a large audience or large subscriber base. A large subscriber base. They are doing well. Anytime they can switch to any kind of African folktale niche, and they'll still have people watching their videos. It's because they have already built a loyal fan base or a loyal subscriber family. That is why they are doing it. But for you who is starting out, you need to niche down. Pick a particular niche. You can either stick to telling scary stories or romantic stories or moral stories, stories with moral lessons or historical African tales, things like that, or village tales, or even modern African folk tales. Then later on, when you have built a strong audience, you can expand. But after you've built a large fan base or subscriber base, if you're liking this live stream so far, please go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. No other, I don't think any creator in the African folktale niche will tell you all these things. They barely go live on their channel, but I do. Maybe because they started out well and they already have a large audience, so there's no need for them to go live. They already have good watch hours and a good audience. So the 30th question, sorry, the 20th question for today's live stream is: which regions folk? Sorry, that's the one I wanted to tell you guys. Let me see. Okay, yes. Which region's folktales should we share more on this channel? Do you want me to focus more on stories from West Africa like I've been doing, because I've been mostly focusing on Nigeria, telling stories within the Nigerian cultural, history and values, because I don't really have much knowledge about other African countries. But with time, I'll delve into telling stories from other parts of Africa. So, do you want me to share stories from East Africa, Central Africa, or Africa rather? Let me know in the chat box or in the comment section. Hello to the one person that has just joined my live stream. Welcome. My name is Jane, and in today's live stream, we are discussing 20 most frequently asked questions about running an African folktale channel on YouTube. The person has gone, and I'm even done with all the questions. But I have some other bonus questions I would like to still discuss with you guys today in today's live stream. We still have about 10 minutes my before the 1 hour that I have set aside for this live stream is up. Anyway, so if you have any questions about the African folktale niche, now will be a great time for you to ask me. Ask me those questions in the comment section. Okay, that was not actually my 20th question. That was not actually my 20th question. That was the question I intended to ask you at the end of this live stream. My 20th question is, how do I build a loyal folktale audience? That is important. How do I build a loyal folktale audience? It's actually simple. Talk to your audience regularly. You can do that through comments. Do it in the comment section. Whenever you upload the video, you have to put out a pinned comment. Write a comment in that particular video and pin it so that anyone coming in to make any comment, you see that your comment and would likely like it or respond to it. You can ask them simple questions like, oh, where are you watching from? Where are you watching this video from? Or what moral lesson did you learn from the story? Or you can ask them a question that is related to that particular story to see if they actually really watched it. Okay, so talk to your audience through community posts, through live streams like I'm doing now. Make sure you reply their comments. When you reply to their comments, the YouTube algorithm would notice those. They'll be like, oh yes, it is actually a human being that is behind this channel, and they'll help push out your videos. Ask questions. Make them feel like they are a part of the channel. Ask questions and make them feel like they are a part of the channel. So some of you may be asking, is it too late to start an African folktale channel now? The answer is no. It's not too late. It's never too late to do anything. It's never too late to fulfill any dream. In fact, as long as you are still alive and breathing, as long as the passion within you still burns, it's never too late to do anything. In fact, African folktale stories are in high demand now. The demand is still growing because AI is currently trending, and a lot of creators in the African folktale niche are actually using AI tools to create their stories. And AI, AI is evolving as the day goes by. And African stories are far from saturated. Folktale stories, they are still far from saturated. You can still stand out in your own niche. So type in the chat box now. Tell me in the chat box. Type there, I'm starting an African folktale channel in the chat box. You can do that if this live stream motivated you to start an African folktale channel. Do that in the chat box. I think I'm going to take a pause and drink a little bit of water. My throat is dry. Then I'll return to talk about few other things rather about African folktales before I sign out. Okay. It's actually getting dark over here, so I have to quickly wrap up today's content. Okay, I have other things I think people may be asking about the African folktale niche. These are bonus questions. Some people may be asking, are African folktale stories real stories or just made up tales? The answer is yes. They are symbolic stories rooted in African history, culture, wisdom, and moral teachings. They teach real life lessons using imagination, animations, spirits, ghosts, and people. So yes, African folktales are real stories. They are real stories because they are based off African roots, or they are stories that come from African roots. Another question is, what makes African folktales different from other folktales that you can come across on YouTube? The answer is African folktales are unique. They are unique because they are deeply connected to the African culture, like I said earlier. They are deeply connected to the African culture, the African tradition, African nature, spirit, ancestors, and community life. Okay, so which African country are you actually watching this video from? Tell me in the chat section. I would like to know whether my video is actually creating an impact in other African countries. Okay, so another question that people may likely ask is, why do African folktales often have strong lessons? The answer is because long ago stories were used to teach children or the young ones how to behave, how to be kind, how to be brave, honest, wise, and not greedy, how to be obedient. So basically, African folktales were Africa's first classrooms. They are used for teaching values, they are used for survival, they are used for passing wisdom down from one generation to the next. So another question that people may likely ask is, why do animals talk in African folktales? The answer is, animals are used to act like humans. They are used to represent the human behavior. Using this makes lessons easier to understand and remember across generations. I remember an African story, folktale story that I read about the tortoise and the hare. Right, I learned something from that story. Slow and steady wins the race. That was one thing I learned, and I have not forgotten that till date. I think using animals helps to spice up the story. Animals like the clever tortoise, the proud lion, or the greedy hyena helps us to understand the human behavior better. So tell me in the chat box or in the comment section which animal character you love the most in African folktales. As for me, I love the tortoise the most. I love stories that feature the tortoise as a character. Yes, I know that something funny is about to go down. I know that the tortoise is about to do something crafty, and I can't wait to actually see it. So tell me in the comment section or in the chat box which animal character you love the most. Drop your answer in the chat box. Another question that people um, ask is, why do elders play a big role in African folktales? Elders are actually seen as wise and experienced. That's why they play a big role in African folktales. They are the keepers of knowledge and tradition, African knowledge and tradition. There is an African proverb that says, what an elder sees while sitting down, a young person cannot see even when they stand on a mountain. So, yes, elders play a big role in African folktales. Tell me in the chat box who told you the most stories, the most African folktale when you were growing up. Is it your father? Is it your mother? Is it your grandmother or grandfather? Tell me the answer in the comment section or in the chat box. Another question that people ask, another question that people ask is, are African folktales meant only for young people or children? No, they are not. Many were created for adults. Many African folktales were created for adults, and they contain deep life um, stories, right, and lessons, deep life lessons, rather. So adults can enjoy African folktales too. In fact, when I check my analytics, I noticed that it is actually adults, especially in the female gender, that watch my stories the most, rather. Adults are from 18 to even 45 years old. Those are the people that like watching my videos. So adults can enjoy African folktales too, because many folktales have deep meanings that adults understand better than younger ones, right? So another question is, why do most African folktales end with a moral lesson? It is so because folktales were Africa's first classrooms. Like I said, they were folktales. African folktales were a medium by which our elders used to instill morals into us, values, into us. That's the way they used to teach us in those days of the there were no formal classrooms or classroom blocks where we Africans sat down to learn. Okay, so the another question is it okay to mix different African cultures in one story? The answer is yes. If your stories are told respectfully and clearly explained to avoid cultural confusion, yes, you can. You can tell stories from other African cultures and traditions. Another question is, why do some African folktales feel dark or scary? Because most times those stories they tell your grandmothers tell you or they told you under the moonlight at night are actually scary. They make you become afraid to sleep at night. At night, it's because fear was used to teach caution, respect for nature, and consequences of bad choices. When we remember those stories, we would want to desist from carrying out um, actions that would end up putting us in trouble. So the another question is, can African folktales still apply to modern life? The answer is yes. It can still apply to modern life. So absolutely, African folktales are still important today because they teach values like respect, patience, wisdom, love, you know, and all these things are still needed. They are still what the world needs. If you notice, these things are gradually dying down. People no longer have patience with each other. They no longer respect each other. There's so much greed in the world. There's so much pride now. People are too proud. And that is why the society keeps getting worse by the day. So African folktales still apply to modern life. Another question people may likely ask is, who owns African folktales? Can anyone tell them? The answer is most African folktales are public heritage. Like I told you, they are stories that are passed down by our ancestors. They are told from one generation to the other. So, but originality comes from how you retell them. How you retell them. The way I would tell a story to you may not be the same way another person would tell that same story to you, right? So the thing is that it's passed down from one generation to the other. So nobody really wants an African folktale, especially those stories that were told in the days of old. Those stories that usually start with the popular once upon a time mantra, right? So another question people may likely ask that is related to the African folktale niche is, why should Africans preserve and tell their own stories today? It is very important that Africans preserve our folktale stories and tell it even in today's world, because these stories are what helps to shape identity. Oh, they've seized they've seized power. These stories are what helps to shape identity, and whoever tells the story controls how the world sees a people. They control how the world sees the people. We're gradually losing light because it's getting darker. Another question is, can African folktales be told differently from how elders told them? I think this is a similar question. The answer is yes. Storytelling evolves. It evolves by the day. I said earlier on, the way I will tell a story may not be the same way another person will tell the story. Another person might spice it up the more, right? Okay, so storytelling evolves. So you can tell your story different from the way the elders originally told it, but what you have to retain is the moral lesson. Everyone spices a story up from their own experiences and situation, but the moral lesson must remain intact. The moral lesson must remain intact. So I'm going to repeat. I think the first question I asked, which is very important. It's the first most frequently asked question for an African folktale um, YouTube channel, which is what is an African folktale channel all about? Like I said earlier on, an African folktale channel shares old and sometimes modern African stories which have been passed down from generation to generation. These stories teach moral lessons, they explain life, and they transfer cultural traditions and experiences, and also entertain people of all ages. So African folktales are basically stories that shaped our culture, our traditions, our fears, our wisdom, and our values. So tell me in the chat section, did you hear African folktales as a child? Comment yes or no in the chat box. Did you hear African folktales as a child? Comment yes or no in the chat box. So I'll end this live stream by asking you guys an important question going forward. What kind of African folktale stories would you like me to post on my channel? Let me know in the comment section. Should I tell a folktale from your tribe in my next upload? This is an opportunity for you to tell me. If yes, type your tribe in the comment section of this video, this live stream video. You can also include the popular folktale story you want me to tell that is peculiar to your own tribe, and I'll do that in my next story. For this week, we are in the season of love, so expect a story that is related to the Valentine's Day. So let me know all the answers to these questions that I asked in the comment section of this video so that I'll create better stories with, of course, moral lessons to keep you entertained throughout this year. And please, oh, hello to the one person that is just joining my channel. We are just done discussing, I'm done answering the 20 most frequently asked questions for running a successful YouTube channel in the African folktale niche. So, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to spread the news about this channel to your friends and loved ones. Tell a friend to tell a friend about Moonlight Tales by Jenny. Share the links to my videos with other people. Alright? Thank you for watching my live stream, and I'll see you in the next video, which is tomorrow. Remember, I'll be going live tomorrow at 1 p.m. Nigerian time. Thank you for watching and see you in my live stream tomorrow, God willing. Bye. Thank you for watching. Oh my god, I'm sweating.